Good evening, everyone, and this is SAGU Sports Network. Tonight we are hosting SAGU Esports Rocket League. I'm your host, Watto, and tonight I'm joined with my co-host,
Crazy Kyle 414.
Tonight we have our very own SAGU Rocket League Gold versus Caldwell Cougars in Week 3 matchup of ECAC Rocket League Division B. But before we get into that, Kyle, let's talk about what is Rocket League.
Oh, Watto, what is Rocket League? Well, essentially, Rocket League is just Hot Wheels that are playing soccer. It's so simple. It's just as easy as that. If you know soccer, more than likely you will understand the basis of Rocket League. Essentially, what you do is you work with your team of 3. There's 2 teams of 3, Watto, and the orange and the blue half. And so what they will do is essentially work together and come up with a strategy of passing the ball back and forth, shooting, saving, all the above in order to defeat the other team. It's super easy, it's super fun, and it's really fast and action-packed.
I mean, it sounds so much fun, but there's got to be some more stuff to it. Are there, maybe mechanics that go into this game mode here?
Oh, Watto, are there mechanics? They have something called Rocket Boost. You get to pick up these boost pads that are located around the map, and essentially your Rocket League car turns into a Hot Wheels flying machine. You jump up in the air, you can do cool flips and tricks and stuff. You can go upside down all around. Dude, it's crazy. And so using that, the players just can do a multitude of different things. There's air dribbles, there's flicks, there's ground plays, passing plays. There's so many different things you can do. The skill ceiling's so high. It's just, we can expect anything tonight.
Well, it sounds really fun, and this sounds like a crazy game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's talk about these teams here, right? So let's introduce them real quick. Who do we have?
Absolutely. On the Caldwell Cougars side of things, we have Chubby Giraffe starting off at the top of the lineup, followed by Little Dot Rog, and then finishing off the lineup, we have Jewelry. I don't know much about these players, but I think we can expect a good fight from them tonight, squaring off against the SAGU team.
Talking about the SAGU team, let's go over their roster as well. We have Mactillion, Jay Hector, and Wanwick. Both these teams right now are 0-2. They had some unfortunate losses in Week 1 and 2 of Division B Rocket League here. But, I mean, Week 3, this matters here. This could be the first win for either team. I mean, it's really a double underdog story here. So, I mean, let's kind of go into this. Who do you have? What's your analysis? What's your prediction here for these teams?
Well, I can imagine that SAGU coming off of a reverse sweep last week. They went up 3 games to start off the series and then dropped the next 4 in a row. So I can think that SAGU's coming in with this bittersweet feeling, a little bit of a revenge that they need to take out, that they want to win. They've shown that they wanted to win, and they've shown that they can take games off of their opponents. It's just a matter of closing the games out now. So I think something that SAGU Gold will be looking to do tonight is to finish off in a Game 6 or a Game 7 and at least close out a series to where they can take their first win of the season. Watto, what are you thinking Caldwell needs to bring to the table tonight?
Honestly, I saw a little bit of past of Caldwell's kind of performances here, and they're a solid team. I mean, last week they lost 2-4 here, but that first game, I mean, their losses were 1-goal deficits. I mean, and those 2 wins, 7-0, 5-2. I mean, they were overpowering wins here. So honestly, I expect a full Game 7 here. I expect someone's coming on top 4-3.
You think it's going to go the distance and then be a high-scoring game every single game?
I think it's going to be low scoring.
Really?
I think Game 1's going to go to Caldwell here, and I think Game 2, SAGU is going to come back and going to understand how to play against this team. It's going to just keep going back and forth till we get to that final Game 7. And honestly, I'm expecting a lower scoring game here. I mean, both teams may be strong and maybe some powerhouses here, but I mean, at the end of the day, powerhouse versus powerhouse, it's going to be an equal game.
And that's totally understandable. And a quick note to mark down that both of these teams, this is their first time ever competing in Collegiate Rocket League within the ECAC scene. So you can imagine that both of these teams are pretty new to the game. They're both about, I think, diamond rank average within Rocket League, which is about 80% of the player base is diamond and below. So that's a good chunk of players. This is what a normal Rocket League game will look like tonight. And so you can imagine they're still trying to learn the ropes. They're trying to figure out how ECAC works, how these matchups are going to go, how this is going to go, but they're also learning how to be collegiate athletes at the same time in the esports scene of things. So you can definitely imagine that there will be some nerves that come into effect to start off the game, but I think towards the end, I think things are going to smooth out really well, that both teams are going to understand each other to a level that we may not be able to see, and they're just gonna go for it. I think it's just gonna be blow after blow. I think it's gonna be high scoring. It's gonna be action packed, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Now, Kyle, you are on the starting varsity team for Rocket League.
It's crazy. You are too,
right? Such a coincidence. But considering you are maybe a little bit of a higher rank than these teams that are playing today, what's some insight that you may see that could make the difference between Caldwell taking a victory or SAGU taking the victory?
I definitely think that a big part in how this game will go is how each team handles their boost. There's only a limited amount of boost on the map that recharges after a specific amount of time. So Rocket League match is 5 minutes. Whoever scores the most will win that match. Well, in that time, you're on the pitch, there's 6 big boosts, and then there's about 30 some odd of the small boosts that give you 12 boosts. And so essentially the boost is the currency of the game. It's basically the lifeblood. So whoever controls the boost controls the pace of the game. They choose how fast the game goes. They choose how slow it plays. And so I think tonight, whoever controls the boost, whoever can play to their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, I think that will be the team that comes out on top.
I mean, I agree. That boost is very important. I mean, I struggle all the time with boost. I mean, I struggle going up with the simple aerial, which is another mechanic in Rocket League that you talked about, is where we get to fly in the air. I mean, It's like a rocket ship. Rocket boost again!
Rocket boost!
Right? It's like flying in the air. But I mean, another mechanic we can talk about is demos.
Oh, yes.
Do you think you can go a little bit into that, like how demos and what demos are?
So essentially what demos are is where you take your opponent off of the field for 3 seconds. These cars, they're very high tech. They're very set in the future. And so they don't take damage. They don't take wear down on the wheels as you drive around the map. They stay in prime condition. But when another player has a lot of boost and they're going as fast as possible, which is called supersonic speed, whenever they're going at supersonic and you collide into another car, that car's going to explode and it's going to be like fireworks on the map, Watto. It's a lot of fun to see, but essentially whenever your team demos another player, that gives you an opportunity because it's essentially a power play. Now, they're one less player for 3 seconds and you have your full squad. You can now make a play because there's one less defender on the field. And so demos are very essential. You will end up seeing a lot of them tonight and you'll know exactly what we mean whenever you see the demo happen. And so whenever that happens, that opens a hole in the defense to where the offense can begin to strike and hopefully find an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, honestly, demos sound fun.
Oh, they're a lot of fun, Watto. Whenever you do it correctly, they're a lot of fun.
Let's go into a little bit about how, you can, like in soccer, we see people passing between each other. Is that the same thing that happens in Rocket League here?
More or less, yes. You want to be able to share the ball with your team. Solo plays are good. They can make something happen, but essentially it is a team-based game. You want to pass the ball back and forth. You want to move around. You want to shift away the defense because they don't know where you're going to strike from if you're able to move the ball with your team. Also, team chemistry will come in a lot into play. And so, yes, just like soccer, you want to pass it with the midfield. You want to take it up the walls on the side of the map. You want to go off the ceiling. You just want to work every possible angle that you can possibly find until you can put the ball in the net and put a point on the board for your team.
Now, there's no out of bounds in Rocket League here.
There's no out of bounds. There's no throw-ins. There's no referees. There's no penalties. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it to you, Watto. You just go for it until the ball goes in. That's just how it is. 5 minutes of pure chaos, and it's so much fun to watch.
I mean, I can't wait for these games to get started. I mean, we love some good Rocket League, and honestly, I mean, we've practiced with them. We've gotten to coach these players a little bit, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. I'm also excited what Caldwell Cougars are going to bring to the table. They're a new team, but there's still some decent ranks in there. There's still that average, that Diamond 1, Diamond 3 rank. They're still in that top of this Division B here for ECAC. So, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup, and I'm excited to wait for it.
Dude, I'm really excited to jump into map 1. I'm sure it's coming up here soon. Until then, we are still talking about how that Caldwell, they're still looking for their first win just as much as SAGU is. And so I can imagine that they also have a little bit, they have a chip on their shoulder. They want to play with a little bit of grit tonight, that they want to come into this game and actually win something. What do you think that will take for them tonight to win off the SAGU team?
Honestly, I think I think the important thing for Caldwell Cougars tonight is some communication. I mean, for y'all that don't know, they are connected to a voice channel, and they're talking with each other in this middle of this game here, and they're communicating where to be on the field and who's going to go for the ball at what times. And I think those key communication spots could change the whole gameplay and the whole pace of this entire game.
Oh, absolutely. And I think mechanics that players bring to the table are going to be a big key factor in this match. And the diamond ring, who is able to control the ball, who's able to flick it, who can carry it in the air and just dribble over everyone's heads. Like, there's just endless possibilities that can happen. And so I think the team that has good mechanics and has good positioning is definitely going to walk away with this one.
So I want to get these predictions here, Kyle. Who do you think?
Okay.
Let's talk about, like, it's a best of 7 here, so they're gonna play maybe a full 7 games, maybe not, but it's the first of four wins here. Who do you think is gonna win, and what do you think the prediction of the score is gonna be for these games?
I think that the SAGU Gold team, the way that I've seen them play recently, again, I haven't seen much of Caldwell, so I don't know what to expect from them for the most part. But I know the determination, that SAGU has, they want to come to this game with. I definitely think that it could be a 4-2 victory in their favor. I think Caldwell will win a few games that shut down SAGU's momentum throughout the night, and it's going to look like it could go either way. But I definitely think SAGU has the possibility of coming out on top.
So I ended up doing some research on the Caldwell team here, but considering rank-wise and considering the small videos that I got to watch of these Caldwell Cougars, I think it's going to go to a Game 7.
Really?
But I think what's going to happen is Caldwell's going to take this first game, and then SAGU's going to be clawing their way back until they make a comeback and Game 6, and they're going to take a game. And I mean, Game 7 could really go to anyone here.
So what I'm hearing is it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Warriors having to come back from 3-1 to pull back the victory. Is that what I'm hearing out of you tonight?
I think so. I think so.
Snap. That's a risky call to make, but I mean, still, anything can happen. I mean, Rocket League, it can favor whichever team shows up to play tonight, and so it's really just a matter of until we see which game happens first and how things play out, I still think it's anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, it really can, especially with all these intricate little details that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to watch. I mean, us being a part of the game, us being on Rocket League lines here, I mean, we've played, and there's still so many different things we don't even understand about the game yet.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what these guys are going through in Division B. I mean, they're still top of their level here. I mean, this isn't a low-level game. We're still going to see really good gameplay. We're still going to see really good mechanics. It's just going to be a little bit of a slower pace.
Absolutely.
But honestly, and that's where you talked about earlier, that's where that control of that boost comes in. I mean, they're going to control that field well, and I honestly think SAGU is going to take control of the field early. And I think Caldwell's going to be fighting back for it. But again, like I said, I do think Caldwell's going to take that first game. I think there's a little bit of nerves from both teams here. I think because, I mean, they're both new semester teams. They're both new teams to ECAC this year. But I think Caldwell kind of has a few, like, upper hands, maybe some hidden aces, maybe some cards up their sleeves here that we haven't seen. But, I mean, so do our SAGU Gold team here too. So.
Oh, for sure. And I like what you're saying, how they're still diamond ranked. They're still very high up in their division and what they play in. ECAC, for Rocket League at least, is split into 2 divisions. They have a Division B and a Division A. So Division B is diamond and below. This is the matchup that you will be seeing tonight. This is, like we said before, where about 80% of the player base resides. This is what they see on a consistent level. This is what they play and this is what they compete in. While Division A, that's more of the higher ranked gameplay where you have your champ level and you're above, where you have people spending hours upon hours in the game where it's borderline a unhealthy obsession. But definitely the Division A matches, you can see the difference between Division A and Division B, and that's why ECAC has split it where it has been. So you do get to see those equal matchups. And so tonight, going into this matchup, both of them are very high up in their respective tiers of where they play. Depending on who you play with, you're not going to completely get stomped. You're not going to get rolled like some other games might happen. And so that's why we think tonight will be such a fair matchup, just because each team is equal. Each team has played so much, and that's the beauty of the round-robin format that ECAC also hosts, to where you always play someone as the same record as you. I believe they're still doing that. And
yes,
so it's very nice being able to play a team that's also 0-2, so you can both have that underdog story where you fight for your first victory. Like, I imagine I was talking to Jay Hector earlier today, and he was like, yeah, I was frustrated about getting reverse swept last week. I'm a little bit of a sore loser sometimes. So I already know, like, he's determined to bounce back and come into this game, and I can imagine that the Cougars are pretty much the same way.
Right. But I mean, as we're talking about bouncing back from Jay Hector here, looks like we're about to get into this first game. And
I'm ready, Watto.
I'm ready for this to start.
It looks like we will be loading into DFH Stadium, one of the most classic stadiums in the game. Been here since the start, and I mean, it's just a classic, man. I think this game 1 and this whole series might just become an instant classic. We'll see what happens here as we load into game 1.
I mean, honestly, let's talk about some rocket boost again.
Uh-oh. You like the rocket boost?
I do. Now, how does... You talked about there's big pads, and then there's, I think you said pennies or small pads?
I call them small pads. I feel like that's easier to say. So essentially, there's 6 big pads that are located in each corner of the map and in the midfield areas, and then all the small pads are scattered throughout the map. So essentially, that turns into what is called rotation, to where you move with your team to equally cover boost while you equally cover areas of the field. That way, the other team doesn't find a hole and shoot and score. You got to be able to work together, and that's where what you talked about with the communication that comes into play. Everything's intertwined. And so if one area doesn't lack, everything begins to fall apart. And I think you'll be able to see instances of that tonight. But yes, rocket boost, very important that you control that.
So you said, okay, you talked a little bit about ECAC a little bit, about how there's 2 separate divisions. Now, does ECAC only host Rocket League, or are there other game titles?
No, ECAC has about over 200 schools within their program right now, with 15 different game titles right now. Just to name a few, there's Rocket League, there's Overwatch, Modern Warfare 2's in there now, Valorant's in there, Smash Bros. They just have a very wide arsenal of games that schools compete in. And so essentially within the Rocket League division, there's about, I think, 100 schools or so, somewhere in there, that compete against each other to fight for the title of ECAC champion at the end of the semester. So essentially you play 8 weeks of regular season play, and then if you get 4 wins, you are able to qualify for playoffs. So you need to win about 50% of your matches. So once you're able to qualify for playoffs, there's a 2-week period, or I think this semester it's going to be a 4-week period at the end of the semester, to where you battle it out against the other top teams in your division to see who walks away with the title of #1 team in the division for that semester. So it's very intricate, very, very lot of behind-the-scenes details that happen about who you face and some of the players there and all the teams. There's so many awesome things, but ECAC is just wonderful to be able to come together and host a league, essentially, to where all these schools can get connected and compete against each other.
So you said that the regular season is about 8 weeks, and the teams that go 4-4 even make it to playoffs.
Yes.
So I mean, talking about this is already week 3.
Yeah.
I mean, this match matters, because whoever wins this is going 1-2 here. It's a little bit easier to go find 4 more wins after that instead of going 0-3, and you're almost like, if we lose again next week, we have to win 4 more in a row.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's crucial, but...
Essentially, this is a do-or-die moment for some of these teams right here, because if you drop to 0-3, you have to fight back a lot harder than if you were, like you said, 1-2. And so I definitely think that this match matters a lot to both of these teams, and at least for their first win of the season, for their first win as a team. And I know, like the SAGU Gold team, they've never played together before until this semester. And so I think that would be a very big win, a very big bonding moment within these guys, that they get to come together and play as a team, that there's something bigger than just themselves. Even if it is just a video game, they have something that they can unite around, that they can rally to, that they have a reason to fight and why they do what they do. And so I definitely think that this week is a big matchup for them.
Now, well, we're in a bit of a delay here, but while we're going to be waiting for this kind of technical issues to come through, we're going to be able to watch our last week's matchups.
Here in game number 1, SAGU in the blue, LA Tech in the orange.
So during this match right here, we have our very own Crazy Kyle, who's hosting with me today, and me. We're joined today. This is Rocket League Lions, and they're playing against, I think this is...
I believe this is LA Tech Black that we're facing off against. This is game 1 of last week's matchup in the ECAC Division A League. So this is essentially a little bit of what you'll be seeing tonight. As you see, your Hot Wheels cars are driving around the map. They're collecting the boost pads. They're moving together as a unit, and you can see that this is a very fast-paced match. The cars are flying up in the air. The ball's going everywhere. It's chaos, but it's organized chaos. It makes sense once you're in the game. And so you can see right here, we're the blue team, so we're trying to defend and make sure that LA Tech Black cannot put the ball in our net. And so we're doing everything that it takes to work together to pass the ball back and forth, to move it around, while the defenders are still falling on us at the same time. And it's just, there was a demo right there that we were talking about earlier. It's just pure chaos, but it's so much fun.
So that number on the bottom right of that screen, that is your boost indicator. That is what you have. So you have a limit, right? So those big boost pads on those corners of those fields and on the edge of the field, really. Those are your max boost pads, and your max boost will equal 100 at all times. And below that will go underneath that. Right now we have me sitting at 34 boost, but that'll indicate to the players as well as those viewers that are watching how much boost those certain kind of cars or Hot Wheels that we talked about have, and what they can do with it. I mean, right now this Easter dude is going up for an aerial, which is what we'll see today.
Hey, look, you got a goal. Look at that. I thought you were casting, not shooting. What's going on?
I don't know here, but I mean, this is definitely something we honestly can still see, and we talked about earlier. It may be a little bit of a lower division than what this gameplay is right here, but those plays are still going to be the same.
Absolutely. Even if they are toned down just a little bit, the concept is still there. What players want to do, what they're trying to achieve, will still happen tonight. One thing to note, like you were saying about the boost, how we as the viewer, we can see the boost amount. The opponents cannot see your boost, and vice versa. You can't see their boost. So it's essentially a guessing game. You need to know where people are, what they've done before, what they're going to do, and it's a matter of predicting what to do next. It's like 4D chess, essentially, where you have to make your move at least 3 moves before you make it. So it's very, very fast gameplay. You got to be able to think. You got to be able to move your car quick, and it's high action, high speed. There's no pit stops like in a Formula 1 race or something. Then there's no referees like in a soccer match. It's simply just cars playing soccer, and it's so much fun. And I mean, this is just a great example of what tonight might look like.
I mean, I'm excited because let's talk about here real quick. But you got to personally coach this SAGU gold team.
Yeah.
Who do you think is gonna kind of be the MVP of the night, maybe?
I'm not sure there would be just one MVP of the night. I think each player plays their respective roles phenomenally. I think anyone can pop off on any given day, but I definitely think a player to look out for would be Mactillion. I mean, I think he might be the best on the team on most days. Not every day, but most days I think he will be the one that's in the air the most. He's going to be trying to find the most scoring opportunities, and he's basically going to create enough space for SAGU that they can put the ball in the back of the net and be able to put points on the board. So I definitely think Mactillion will be a player to watch for the night.
I mean, talking about how Mactillion is kind of going to be someone that we need to watch out for SAGU, I would say after doing a little bit of research on the Caldwell Cougars team, a person we maybe need to watch out for is Lil Rog. Lil Rog may be given the heat and kind of going against Mactillion here.
Do you think it's going to be a battle of the strikers for the night?
I think it's going to be a battle of the strikers.
Oh, come on. Because I know Jay Hector, he wants to shoot the ball. He can create space. Both him and Mactillion are very good solo players. So I think both of them can take the ball, create space within their offensive half, and be able to find scoring opportunities. And then definitely Juan Wick, the one kind of more reserved. He's playing back. He's trying to play defense, make sure that the ball doesn't go in their net. And so I definitely think overall as this team, they can work very well together. And I think all of them are going to do just fine here in week 3.
So it looks like, I mean, as we're watching this replay here from last week's matchup between Rocket League Lions and LA Tech Black, there seems to be a timer at the top of the field. Is that for a reason there?
Oh, absolutely, it's for a reason. They won't let you play car soccer forever. That's too much fun. Essentially, in one match, you only have 5 minutes to figure out how to score the ball. If the timer hits 0 and both of the scores are tied up, essentially once the ball hits the ground, then it will send it to overtime. So that is a tactic to do. If the clock has 0 seconds and you still want to score, just keep the ball in the air and you should be fine. But essentially, once it hits overtime, it's golden goal. First one to score wins. And so you have 5 minutes per game, and then there are 7 games total that could possibly be played. It's the first one to 4 wins. And so essentially, we could be here for 20 minutes, we could be here for an hour. It just depends on how good these matchups are tonight.
So what I'm hearing is we could be going to a Game 7, like I said, plus an overtime.
Plus an overtime, and that overtime can go to a golden goal, and then that can drag on for another 5, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, the longest recorded overtime, I think, is, 11, 20 minutes? I know that's a big gap, but I can't remember what it is. I know the record just changed. But overtime just goes until someone scores. So you could be there all night, potentially, theoretically, but I don't think that's going to happen tonight. I think both these teams are going to be very quick on scoring in, and I think we're going to have some very fast-paced matches.
Okay, so unfortunately there has been a little bit of a delay here. It's going to be about a 10-minute delay, but after those 10 minutes, we're going to be back. Me and Kyle are going to be here waiting to cast these SAGU Gold Rocket League team and the Caldwell Cougars, and we can't wait to see you back here in about 10 minutes. So one of the mechanics I think you talked about earlier was flipping, almost. I think it's what you called it. You think you can go into a little more detail about what it means to flip and like how that can be beneficial towards the team?
Absolutely. So essentially, your car it has rocket boost on the back, right? You have a full, essentially, jet-powered car that can fly in the air, but it can also jump, which is really cool. And so essentially what you can do is you can jump twice, and depending on which way that your controller stick is facing, that's which way your car is going to flip. So you can flip backwards, you can flip forwards, flip to the side, flip all around, like whatever you want to do. And so what a lot of players will do is they flip into the ball to get more power, because you get pretty much an extra bit of boost, extra bit of strength as you flip into the ball. And so you're going to see these players flipping around the pitch, essentially, to get to places faster, to speed up, because flipping also helps you reach supersonic. It gives you extra boost. And so flips are very important. You don't want to do it too much. You want to do it at an efficient amount. You want to be able to play the ball correctly. Wherever you go in for a 50-50 where two cars are flipping into the ball at the same time, you want to be able to be the one that comes out on top that wins the 50 and the ball bounces in your favor. And so essentially flipping is very important. You don't want to do it too much, but you also don't want to do it enough. I think there's a very good balance to it.
So we talked about it earlier. There's flipping, there's demos, there's flying in the air. I mean, it's like a little airplane here.
Like a little airplane.
There's boost, and then there's kind of like, I think we talked about earlier about rotations, about how a team is rotating around the field to find an opening and honestly put the ball in the goal. I mean, like we see Hood right here, passes to Kyle, and Kyle gets the challenge, and he finds the back of the net here.
Yeah, you can essentially hear like there's a kickoff there at the beginning where both teams slip into the ball, and that's where the initial 50-50 pops up. So you see there at that time the blue team won the 50-50 there. And so it's just a matter of when to flip, when to use boost, when to do this, when to do that. And that's essentially what makes the game so much fun, is whenever your team is working together, you're able to properly communicate when you want to do what you want to do. And at the end of the day, you just hope that you can beat out the defense and that you can put the ball in the net.
I mean, we get to see it here again, but it looks like Neely lost that kickoff. Was that something that could be a strategy here in the games we see?
Oh, that is very much a strategy. There is a fake kickoff where essentially you act like you're going for the 50-50, but instead you're going to turn away and go pick up boost and let the teammate behind you go hit the ball. So the 50-50, he acts like he's about to flip, but he doesn't. It's you're faking out, trying to get the defender to pass you the ball. You get a free hit essentially because there's no one near you. And so your teammate will pass the ball upfield to you. You can get the rocket boost, fly through the air all you want, and then put the ball in the net, just like how Watto does it right there. Essentially, there's endless opportunities. The sky's the limit, basically. However creative you can be is what's going to happen at the end of the day. So you got to be creative, have these creative shots, these creative ideas, and ways that you can fake out the defense, or you can just basically try to punch the ball through as hard as possible and just get a very powerful shot.
I mean, definitely what it seems like here is that the team who has the possession is what matters. But possession, I mean, it's almost a strategy game like you talked about earlier. 4D chess is maybe giving up possession is the right play here.
Oh, definitely.
So we did get some information back, but the game should be starting in about 3 minutes. But I mean, as we got this, there's about 3.5 minutes left in this game here. So we get to see a little bit of a recap of what happened last week when our Rocket League Lions played LA Tech Black.
Absolutely, and with those 3 minutes, that's just long enough to make popcorn in your microwave, in your kitchen, or in your dorm room if you're watching on campus. And so definitely go make a bowl of popcorn, because tonight's going to be a very good matchup. Here you're watching Game 5 of the SAGU Lions starting team versus LA Tech Black. The score is tied up 2-2 with about 3 minutes 18 seconds left in the matchup. I believe the Lions lost this matchup last week 2-4, which is very sad. So the Lions team is now sitting 1-1. They were supposed to play a matchup tonight, but due to unfortunate circumstances with Stevenson University, they will end up playing their match tomorrow night. So instead, it will be the SAGU Gold team that is hosted for all of you to see tonight. So be sure you get some snacks, you get a drink, and you'll be able to watch this matchup, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, as we talk about these moments where we're streaming and we're seeing these games live of the games of these SAGU esports players playing in real time, Rocket League's not the only game that's going to be played. Every Monday, we have Super Smash Bros., which our Super Smash Bros. Team is 3-0 right now.
No, they're doing great right now.
Next week is the week they could make it to playoffs. I mean, that's a crucial week.
Definitely.
It could be their first loss, or it could be the monumental moment that they get to make it to playoffs early and honestly, they're going to secure that #1 seed. Every Tuesday, we have our very own Valorant team, which is also another team that I'm on. I get to compete on 2 teams. I mean, sometimes I get to be, I'm good at enough games that I get to compete for 2 different games for SAGU Esports, and I'm lucky to do that. Some schools don't get that privilege here, and we're so glad that we get that privilege here at SAGU Esports. Every Wednesday, we're going to be streaming Rocket League at 7 as well. All of these streams will be at 7 p.m. Central.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we would love to see everyone continue to tune in. But every Thursday, we get to take a break a little bit. Get to take a break as our sports titles, some of the other titles we get to play, which will be including FIFA and Madden. Those games will be able to get to play on Thursdays. And then we continue the stream back on Fridays with our Modern Warfare 2 team. And, I mean, last week, they won last week 3-0.
Oh, they did a phenomenal matchup last week. If you missed that game by any chance, you're able to go back and watch the video replay on our YouTube channel, or I think it should be linked in the videos tab on our Twitch page. So definitely go back and check that match out after the match tonight. You definitely don't want to miss this match first.
I mean, so can you tell me what happened with Rocket League Lions here, right? I mean,
oh no.
I mean, there was a reschedule here, but who can we expect for them to play tomorrow? I mean, it's not going to be streamed, unfortunately, but I mean, we still get to see a great matchup with our gold team versus Caldwell. But who do you think the matchup is between Rocket League tomorrow?
Absolutely. The Rocket League starting Lions team will face off against Stevenson RL Green. So I believe that is their second team. I'm not for sure, but they have some very solid players on their team. It should be a very good matchup. Unfortunately, it won't be streamed, but that's okay. We will still get the score reports out to you if you follow our Instagram at SAGU Esports. That's where the link will be, not the link will be posted, but the graphics will be posted to where you can see the score titles at the end of the night.
Okay, awesome. Well, on Friday for that stream, we're going to be able to see hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen. There's been a kind of a mix-up between teams here. Not sure if the team's not going to be able to make it Friday, but if so, we'll be able to see a matchup between our Modern Warfare 2 Lions and Soaring Eagles Gold. But enough about next week's and Friday's streams.
Enough about that. Let's do it.
We're getting close, and we're getting started in this game between SAGU Gold and Caldwell Cougars. If you haven't been here, or you just joined, this is still Game 1. I mean, the series hasn't started yet, but I know it's going to start off strong.
And absolutely, and both teams still sitting at 0-2 as their records for the ECAC regular season. We're about to jump into week 3 here, and so it's still anyone's matchup. Anything can happen. It's still anyone's game, Watto. And so we're just looking for a fun matchup tonight that we get to host with you. And I'm just looking forward to the players hitting the pitch. And here we go, jumping in to SAGU Gold versus Caldwell Cougars. Let's get into map number 1.
So it looks like Jay Hector's going off for the kickoff. Jules going to pop it up. He's looking to take control here. Pass midfield. Gets one touch towards SAGU's side. Wanwig's going to take control here. SAGU's still going to remain in possession of this ball. Missed opportunity as Little Rock's going to take it towards SAGU's half.
Absolutely, and you already see Jay Hector going off the back wall, trying to jump in the air, and this is where the high-level skill ceiling comes into play, that either of these teams, they spent hours upon hours in this game. They know exactly what they're doing. They're communicating to each other, and they're just trying to make something happen. You see the cars are trying to collect the boost. They're flipping towards the ball. Jay Hector making an amazing save there as Chubby was trying to shoot the ball. I mean, this is where the stalemate begins to happen. Both teams are trying to find possession. They're trying to control the ball and the boost like we talked about before, and they're just trying to find that opening goal as we're nearing a minute into this first match.
I mean, look at this moment here. Lil Rod gets a clear out, but Mactillion is waiting for him to take a shot onto net here, and he finds the back of Caldwell's net, putting us into a 1-0 lead for SAGU in the first minute of this game.
Absolutely, and you saw that there were two goalies in the net, but because of Mactillion's positioning on, he had possession and he had boost, he was able to get a strong power shot into the back of the net. You see there, he's flipping into the ball, trying to get more power on it. That way it goes over the defender's heads and they're unable to save it.
Jay Hector's going. This ball's gonna float towards the net. Lil Rog here gets his save, keeping this still at a 1-0 lead for SAGU. Chubby's gonna take the ball up the wall here. Looking to keep possession here, he does. Looking for a pass out mid, but Mactillion stops that. Lil Rog keeps it over here. Mactillion's still there, taking it into SAGU's possession here.
Mactillion having to leave the ball alone, trading off with his teammates. This is where, when we talked about rotation, comes into play. Once you hit boost, like 0 boost on your meter, it's time for you to fall back. You need to go back and play defense, pick up more boost, and let your teammate try and do something.
Swanwick's gonna go up the wall here. He gets a 50-50 like we talked about earlier. 2 of SAGU players are up, and they make contact with the ball. Looks like a little bit of a play here. Mac's gonna hit it off the backboard. SAGU's waiting to find an open net here, but Caldwell is doing such a good job of defending the back of their goal.
But SAGU turns back into the ball. They're trying to find something on that. Mac taking yet another shot, but now Caldwell trying to get the ball and create an opportunity out of this play, but the SAGU offense is relenting. They're not letting off the gas just yet as we're nearing the halfway point in this game 1.
Lil Rog's gonna go up. Jules gonna take control. He passes to Lil Rog. He takes the shot. It's off wide, but what a passing play and communication between these teams. Jay Hector takes a shot and it floats into the top right corner, taking SAGU to a lead of 2-0.
A counterattack right here by Jay Hector. Essentially, Caldwell missed that aerial right there that we talked about where you jump up in the air. That's where the play gets risky. And so Jay Hector was able to capitalize on that opportunity and find a goal. The counterattack, just a great textbook play by Jay Hector. You already know the SAGU coach is really happy about that. Caldwell trying to find an open net, but barely hitting the crossbar. As things keep going back and forth, we go back into the stalemate as the Caldwell team is on offense. SAGU trying to shut them down, but I mean, the team's just repositioning. They're trying to find plays, but Mac is going to move the ball down the field and try and create an opportunity for the SAGU Gold team.
As SAGU's going to take possession here in midfield. Lil Rock stops this. It's going to transfer over to Caldwell University. Mactillion's up off the wall. He gets it clear towards midfield, and it's a touch by them. In the open net, Mactillion finds another goal.
Great opportunity by Mactillion. Able to create the play off the wall and then capitalizing on Caldwell. I mean, it was just a great overall play.
I mean, exactly. What a play by here. We got a minute 30 left in this game. Still enough time for Caldwell University to come back. But I mean, as we're seeing here, SAGU is making a powerhouse move with these 3 goals. As Mactillion goes for a challenge here, it's going to keep it in the SAGU's possession.
And definitely we were expecting this to be somewhat of a high-scoring match. We weren't sure which team was going to come out firing first. But yes, a very powerhouse performance so far in Game 1. That SAGU Gold is presenting, and I don't think they're going to let off the gas just yet as they still continue to push the offense, but Caldwell now trying to make a counterattack, moving the ball to the other field. Jay Hector trying to take it off the wall, unable to find anything, and Mac's going to try and move the ball back down the field, but is unable to.
As Jay Hector's going to take it off the back wall, one of them is up for Caldwell. Missed opportunity here. Jay Hector's going to take it for himself, trying to find it again, but Chubby is going to take control. saving this and getting Caldwell to rotate back to make sure that they're going to keep this ball in their possession. Little Rog pops it up. Mactillion is up, but Little Rog beats one. Looking to get another one here as Jay Hector takes possession again.
And you see Caldwell, there's not necessarily one person that's just playing goalie the whole night, that they flow in between each other, that each person gets a chance to attack, each person gets a chance to defend. And that's where the rotation comes into play, as we said before, that each person will get a chance, but even with 2 goalies in the net, Jay Hector will still find a chance to shoot the ball. Beautiful pass from Mactillion out of the corner, and such a hard shot by Jay Hector, but he finds the back of the net, and SAGU goes up 4-0 with 18 seconds left in Game 1.
I mean, this is a tough Game 1 here for Caldwell University, but again, like we talked about earlier, it's a best-of-7, so this series is not over yet.
Yeah.
I mean, looks like Caldwell University is still going to put up the fight. They're making sure that SAGU knows that even though there's this 4-0 deficit here, that they're not going to give up no matter what, which is a great mindset to have, especially in these longer series games. As this clock winds down to 0, we're going to wait for this ball to drop and hit the ground, and the game is going to end. And there it is. Game 1, SAGU Gold takes the victory.
And you got to imagine that's a big confidence boost, especially after last week whenever they got reverse swept. And you got to imagine they're down in the dumps. They're feeling like they could have done more, but it wasn't enough. But then starting off this Game 1, very strong, looking with a 4-0. You got to imagine they're feeling pretty good.
Okay, so we just got news that this was actually ending up being Game 2. Because of the delay, because it took a certain time, there are certain rulings that ECAC keeps into place, so a team cannot continue to stall or elongate these series from the original start time that we have at 7 p.m. Central. So SAGU is currently up 2-0 in this series. Definitely somewhat of a morale lower for like Caldwell Cougars going into this.
Definitely. But I definitely think after their first real in-game matchup, you got to think that they know what it takes now to beat the SAGU team. They've kind of finally had a chance to see them, review how they play, what they need to do to be able to go at the next game and hoping to find a win. Because you got to imagine, you're down 2-0 already. You got to find something to change fast. Otherwise, the other team's going to run away with it. And I think Caldwell can do that right here.
I mean, like you said, Caldwell kind of got used to SAGU, how they play. So let's see how they turn up into this Game 3. As Jay Hector's going to go off for kickoff again. Caldwell's going to take an early possession, taking an early shot, but Wanwick is there to block the goal. Julie's there to take it a pass towards mid. Little Rog's there. He finds it. And there it is. Like you said, Caldwell found how SAGU plays, and they find their first goal in this third game.
Absolutely. I think they definitely found the intensity. Little Rog, especially bringing the speed to the game now. He's moving a lot faster than he did before and capitalizing on the SAGU defense with them not having the boost to get back. As we jump into the next kickoff, a goal was scored in the first 10 seconds, and Jay Hector already wanting to fire back, unable to find the ball in the back of the net, and now Caldwell will go on the counterattack.
As Caldwell's going to look to take possession here. Chubby Giraffe is taking it. Mactillion's going to stop this. Transferred over to SAGU attacking defense, but Jewel stops it again. Wanwick with the 50 in the midfield. Looking to take control here. He's going to try to look for a pass towards midfield. Gets one touch. Shot from Mactillion off a little wide. Looks like Caldwell's going to take the possession. This ball's going to be sitting in SAGU's half. SAGU does not seem to be panicking here at all, as they understand that they trust their teammates and that they're ready to go onto this counterattack once again.
SAGU regrouping now, and Mactillion jumping in and taking a shot, squeezing it barely between 2 defenders, and we'll find the back of net and even this game up 1-1 with 4 minutes left in game number 3. What a beautiful shot.
I mean, for sure, that was threading the needle there between 2 of Caldwell's defenders. Got it between to find SAGU's first goal of this game and to tie the game up. As Jay Hector's going to look to take control here. He tries to get a flick past Little Rog, but Little Rog is there for the save. Mactillion's up. SAGU's looking to take possession here. They're still holding possession. Caldwell takes possession here as there's a 50 going back towards the goal.
And now this is where Caldwell tries to take possession of the ball. They're regrouping as a team. They're trying to move as a unit, but the SAGU defense will shut them down, try and make a counterattack. But it seems like Jay Hector getting one demo, trying to create space for Mactillion to move in. He's going to hit the ball off the backboard, and 2 SAGU members jump at the ball, unable to find anything, as the SAGU offense is still unrelenting.
Mactillion's going to take possession here, looking for a hit This Chubby Giraffe clears it towards the SAGU's half. Jay Hector's going to go back here, looking for a pass up towards midfield. Connects with Mactillion, and they find their second goal of the game.
Mactillion is just going crazy right now for the SAGU squad. He's able to control the boost. He's jumping up in the air. He's making plays that the Caldwell is just not expecting. And so Mactillion is just being a powerhouse on this field right now. He's dictating the speed. He's dictating who gets the first touch on the ball. And he's just trying his best to bring SAGU a victory in week 3 of ECAC.
As Caldwell's going to take possession here, Jay Hector's going to deny them. It's an open net. He misses the challenge as Jules going to take possession towards this midfield. Gets it past one, looking to get it past Mactillion, but he is a brick wall back there as he gets it cleared toward the corner.
And now the Caldwell team trying to make a stop in midfield, but Mactillion is just a brick wall right now. He's just doing all that he can to stop the ball from going in the blue half and making sure that it goes in the back of the orange net. And now SAGU Gold is up 3-1, and we're not even to halftime yet.
You are right. I mean, this is a tough match right here for Caldwell, especially going to the third game down to 2-0, but they're not giving up. And look at this. They're looking to take possession here. And honestly, I think Caldwell, is starting to understand what they need to do here in the second half. They need to start applying more pressure to the SAGU defense. I mean, again, we saw that they scored that first goal early into the game, and that was by applying continuous pressure. And like what I said, they continue to apply the pressure onto this SAGU defense as they find their second goal of Game 3.
Absolutely, and a great shot by Jewel right there, barely getting it past Mac, and Jay Hector unable to stop the ball from going in the back of the net. Just a great shot overall. Caldwell trying to say, we're not done here yet, and they're going to go back into another kickoff facing off against SAGU as SAGU goes immediately onto the offensive half. Wanwick missing an opportunity, and the counterattack from Caldwell begins to come out.
Jay Hector's going to stop Caldwell from putting into the SAGU half, saying that Mactillion's not the only brick wall here, but Mactillion finds another goal.
Was that his hat trick?
I think that was his hat trick.
Beautiful pass from Jay Hector out of the corner, and Mactillion beating out the last goalie. That is Mactillion's 4th goal right now. He has all the SAGU goals, while Caldwell's a little more spread out. And I mean, you just got to imagine Mactillion is feeling good tonight.
I mean, I agree. He was looking good as well on this pitch. I mean, let's talk about this a little bit. I mean, right? We see Mactillion's taking control here. I mean, we talked about this earlier before these games started, but there are things called demos in Rocket League. And I think we may need to see a little bit of a game plan switch in Caldwell here and trying to find some demos to open up the field and kind of find SAGU's weakness again, like we said, of applying that pressure onto SAGU defense.
Definitely, and Caldwell making an offensive strike here, beating one defender, but another Caldwell member is not there to receive the ball. They'll be there a second late, and now they try and get a shot opportunity off, but Jay Hector denies the shot, and he's going to try and take the ball the other way.
Jay Hector's looking to get a pinch towards mid, but Caldwell takes this opportunity to take possession and put this into SAGU's half. As Jules going to go up, he's going to get it past one, looking to get it past another, going for an air dribble here, but he doesn't get it past Mactillion, the brick wall.
As we near a minute remaining left here in game number 3 of ECAC Week 3, Mac trying to take another shot, but it will be denied by Jewel. I definitely think that Caldwell picking up this pace a lot more than they have before. It's putting SAGU more on the ropes. You can see they're being a little more panicky. They're being more aggressive and jumpy towards attacking the ball. I definitely think Caldwell can keep this fast-paced energy up, that they can maybe pull this game back.
I mean, I do agree. But Jay Hector finds that 5th goal for SAGU. 30 seconds left with a 3-goal deficit. But I mean, we know Rocket League, and Rocket League can change fast. Caldwell still has a chance to come back from this.
Oh, absolutely.
And honestly, if they can start applying that pressure like they did for those other 2 goals they scored, I think we can maybe see this Game 3 overtime.
I definitely think that 30 seconds remaining, 3 goals is still very possible. As just SAGU has looked like they've been so offensive heavy. But there's one whiff out of Wanwick. Instead, Mactillion will get a demo and even up the playing field and make sure that this ball doesn't go in the back of their net just yet. Hanging on by a thread. 10 seconds remaining. SAGU trying to hold on just a little bit longer. Caldwell not wanting to go on match point.
I mean, as we talked about this earlier, Caldwell was the one that was needing the demos, but I think Mactillion heard us instead and started going for demos himself. As this clock has reached 0, SAGU's going to take this Game 3 win. I mean,
definitely.
What a game from Mactillion here.
Oh,
I mean, he was a powerhouse. I mean, you talked about it before, but he was the guy we needed to look out for, and I think you were right. I mean, with 4 goals, that is a overpowering.
And yeah, he was putting 6 shots on net, 4 of those goals falling in the back of net. You got to imagine that's really good shooting percentage. Jay Hector making sure that that Mactillion knows that he's not the only one that scores the goals. He wants to shoot too. And Wanwick just being that anchor for the team, being able to hold them under control. SAGU is looking very solid right now as they go up on the match point. What do you want to see out of Caldwell now? What do you think can elevate this game that can bring back this potential reverse sweep?
Now, honestly, I mean, we started to see it a little bit before in that last game, but Caldwell started to apply more pressure on that SAGU, and they were starting to find those goals like they did. They scored 2 goals. I mean, they had 8 shots. They applied plenty of pressure here, but I mean, like it says here, there's 8 shots from Caldwell. They were doing their job. It was just sometimes it wasn't coordinated enough. I mean, like we see, there needs to be a follow-up. There needs to be that second person behind that in case that shot gets saved, there's still someone else on Caldwell to be there. So maybe I want to see a little bit more of a tighter grouping from Caldwell here, pushing against this SAGU defense and trying to break that brick wall from Mactillion.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want 2 players in the same spot. You want them spread out. But we are jumping into game number 4 right now as Caldwell tries to bring this back. They want to find 1 game on the board, but SAGU isn't going to let them just yet as Jay Hector takes the kickoff and tries to score.
I mean, so right here, we can see Jay Hector with a kickoff goal. I mean, this is a very crucial moment because it puts one team ahead of another very fast. But also what makes it so unique is that this ball stayed where it was at the very beginning, which is such a rare occurrence because that 50-50 means that it was equal and it sat there. And Jay Hector did a beautiful job following up like we talked about to find that goal for SAGU.
Absolutely, and now we can see Mactillion here trying to take the ball, create an opportunity for the SAGU team, looking to find a double tap but is unable to. Wanwick is going to come in and make sure that the ball stays on this orange half. Caldwell trying to find something. They're shutting down the SAGU offense much better than they have before, but still 30 seconds into the match, it's anyone's game.
I mean, exactly, especially with this being match point for SAGU here. Caldwell has their backs against the walls, so there's nowhere else for them to go during this game. So it's all or nothing, and as we can see, they are fighting for their lives here. As it looks like Chubby Giraffe's going to try to continue to keep this pressure as they back off a little bit, but it looks like to be a fake as Jules going to stay on this wall looking for a touch from Mactillion. Mactillion gets it past 1. Little Rog's going to be there, but Mactillion gets a 50 past them as this ball's going to float into midfield.
And Wanwick taking it the other way, and he tries to get the goal, but it's saved by Chubby Giraffe. And now Caldwell will go into the other half. A crazy save there as a breakaway goal was almost scored, but instead the Caldwell defense has now stepped it up. They've known that if SAGU's going to play offense all day, I guess the only way to beat a good offense is a good defense.
Exactly. I mean, we can already see that. I think Caldwell's up at 3 saves so far. I mean, they said if Mactillion can be a brick wall, so can we. But they're doing it with a little bit of a more team effort, as it looks like they're going to try to take a shot on net, but it's cleared by Wanwick. He's up again to take a shot, cleared by Caldwell University. Jules going to take possession towards this midfield, looking for a pass to his teammate, but Jay Hector's going to be there waiting for it.
And it definitely looks like Little Rog and Jewel have been the 2 that have been striking the most for Caldwell tonight. Jewel, especially this game number 4, he's finding more opportunities than anyone else right now as he continues to move the ball onto the other half. Mactillion's going to send it the other way, and Jay's going to get a close shot, but it bounces off the crossbar and goes back into an offensive possession for SAGU.
I mean, as we're reaching... I mean, we can see here again, Mac takes a shot. What a beautiful shot from Mactillion here, as there's a pass towards midfield from Wanwick, and he flies up into the air.
He was high in the sky for that one. I definitely thought he was going to try and slap it off the backboard and make a play out of it somehow, but instead he's just going to sink it right into the back of the net. I mean, the backboard can be such a very useful tool in moving the ball around because it puts the defense in such an awkward position. They can't really see where the ball's about to bounce while the offensive team can. to the backboard is very good. I don't think it should be used every time, but bouncing the ball off the walls and trying to confuse the defense, I think, is a very viable tactic right now.
As we've reached this midpoint of the game, SAGU is leading up 2-0, but Caldwell is still not giving up, as they're hoping to take their first game of the series here and force this into a Game 5. As Jules going to take possession here in midfield, wins the challenge against Mac. Ball's going to be floating up. Wanwick's going to get it past one. He's maybe going to try to follow this, looking for a shot on net, but Little Rock clears it out, getting that offensive pressure from SAGU backed off their net. Mac's going to clear it towards Caldwell's side. They're going to take their time here. Looks like they're going to try to bait him in. Mac gets it past one. It's going to float in front of Caldwell's goal. It's not going in. There's a save.
What a save.
What a save from Jewel, as that ball was creeping its way into Caldwell's net. I mean, it's stuck in this corner here, but Caldwell is not panicking, and they finally get to clear out towards midfield. Maxtillian's up looking for a shot. Little Rog with another save from Caldwell. What a brick wall here.
And this is definitely, Watto, where the boost management comes into play. When you're sitting on your half, you're not able to leave and go collect more boost. You have to make do with what you have. And Caldwell is doing a very phenomenal job about keeping the ball out of the net, maintaining their boost, and still trying to find ways to strike. But Jay Hector will not let that happen just yet, as he slaps one off the crossbar. Mac trying to take a shot as well, but it won't work out. And Caldwell is just trying to find a chance to get out of their half.
Jay Hector looked towards a pass towards mid. Looks like Mac's going to look one as well. Tries to get another shot, but Jewel gets the clear as we reach to the final minute of this game. SAGU is still up 2-0. Can Caldwell find their first goal? As they're going to leave this ball up to Chubby Giraffe. Wanwick takes it instead. Chubby Giraffe gets the clear towards the corner. Little Rog goes for a fake here, but Maxtillian is not fooled by it as he gets it off the sidewall.
Caldwell has to find something now. There's about 30 seconds left in the game. They've been playing defense, but defense doesn't put points on the board. It just stops the other team. This is the series point on the line right here. Caldwell trying to find a chance out of their half. Here's an opportunity to strike, but Jay Hector will shut it down, keep the ball in the orange half as time slowly ticks down, and Jay Hector's going to put the ball in the back of the net. That might be the nail in the coffin.
I mean, like we talked about earlier, you've seen this backboard a little bit. As we can see, ball just barely touches the backboard enough to get it outwards hit towards Jay Hector, getting it past one defender, and he could find that open net, putting SAGU up 3-0. But there's 18 seconds left in this game, as we're hoping Caldwell, Wanwick with the demo. I mean, we talked about it before.
But an unfortunate miscommunication by the SAGU defense. There's still time on the board. Like we said, kickoff goals get the ball in the net very, very, very fast. And Jewel finding a chance to strike. Maxtillian and Jay Hector, just a miscommunication. The ball will fall in their net. 12 seconds remaining, and it's still possible to put two more points on the board.
It's still anyone's game here. It's a close-fought battle between Caldwell and SAGU. As we're down to the final 5 seconds of this game. Looks like SAGU's going to continue to take this possession off the crossbar. 1 second left.
The ball stays off the ground, but it hits anyways, and the SAGU Gold Lions will walk away with their first victory in the ECAC regular season.
I mean, what a game. I mean,
dude, look at the shot total. SAGU putting a total of 13 shots on the board, while Caldwell having to save 5 of those. Only 3 of them fell in. That means there were a few missed shots on the SAGU half of things, but you got to imagine that SAGU's feeling really good after walking away with a victory.
Agreed. I mean, it was such an unfortunate moment for Caldwell here to have a little bit of a technical difficulty, giving up that game 1 because they had to forfeit it because of the elapsed time that they had to give up. But I mean, they still fought.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
they were down 1-0 at the very beginning of the series, but they still fought. They didn't give up. I mean, hats off to Caldwell for not giving up. I mean,
definitely. I think they could have. They've had chances to turn that game around, to turn the tide. Unfortunately, that's not what we saw tonight. But it was a still solid showing by the Caldwell team. I definitely think that they're going to take a few wins here later on in the season.
Agreed. I mean, they're not a bad team. As we saw before, it was just at that moment, like you said, it could be anyone's game no matter what. And SAGU came off firing fast.
No, dude, they definitely, they controlled the boost. They controlled the offensive half of the pitch. They had possession for most of the game. And so I definitely think that's what helped them walk away with that victory, was that Caldwell never had a chance to strike. They never really had a chance to put points on the boards, and that led to ultimately to a SAGU victory.
I mean, we talked about it before, but Maxtillian, I mean, he was he was threatened. I mean, he was a threat to Caldwell and their defense. I mean, as we could see, I think it was game 3, 4 goals, 6 shots,
Mm-hmm.
40% shooting percentage right there in just one game. Now, we go across all these games, I guarantee you it was over a 50% shooting accuracy.
Oh, dude, he was shooting phenomenal tonight. I'm sure the stat lines will show that later tonight. I think that Maxtillian has my MVP of the week. He played phenomenally. But Jay Hector and Juan Wick also helped bring the team together. They moved as a unit. It wasn't just one player that ran away with this game. I think the whole SAGU team, they played phenomenal together. They did great together, and that's what helped them come out with a win.
I mean, if we talk about this, right, SAGU's Maxtillian, he was definitely the striker of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he didn't have a full 100% shooting accuracy.
No, yeah.
And I think that's where Jay Hector stepped up as well. He was following those shots from Maxtillian, and he was still being there. And Juan Wick kind of looked at them and been like, y'all go do your thing, and I'm going to make sure that the ball doesn't go in our net. I mean, with Caldwell University, I think they only took maybe 3 goals off of SAGU. There wasn't that much scoring from Caldwell, and I think that had to do a lot with the defense that Juan Wick, Maxtillian, and Jay Hector were all putting up.
Definitely, and you could see in most of these situations that Little Rog and Jewel had very, very good shooting opportunities, that they had chances to strike and to be able to score, but like you said, that SAGU defense from Juan Wick especially and Jay Hector, that they were shutting down their defense, and they were just playing such an offensive game. I definitely think Caldwell, they had so many chances, they had opportunities to strike, and it just tonight maybe wasn't their night or something like that. I definitely think it's very, very much able to bounce back from. I definitely think as they go into week 4 next week, you got to imagine they'll probably still be feeling a little sad that they haven't got a 1 win yet, but I still definitely think that it's possible that they can find something. They're a solid team. They're just waiting for that right time to strike, and I definitely think Little Rock can lead them into that victory.
I mean, but like we talked about earlier, right? ECAC does a round robin play, so it's an equal record. So next week, Caldwell's going to go against a team that is also 0-3, and I think that's going to give them a great opportunity to maybe take their first win of this ECAC season. And I mean, honestly, I'd love to see Caldwell do great. I mean,
absolutely.
They're a solid team, and they did such a great job. I mean, they definitely kept these goals kind of short. I mean, as we saw, Mac kind of popped off in that game 3 with 4 goals, like we talked about. But all those other games were pretty close. There was no overlying game where, like, I mean, you looked at one game and yeah, it was 4-1, but or it was I think it was 5-2 maybe.
I think it was 5-2.
But besides that, they kept every other game a close scoring game. There's nothing to look down upon if I was Caldwell. There's nothing to look back and be like, I mean, it was such a hard fought battle, and they did such a great job.
Yeah, and like how you were saying about in the ECAC, you're playing a round robin, you're playing someone that has the same record as you. Now with SAGU sitting at 1-2, their matches are only going to get harder from here. They're going to consistently play teams that have the same record, that have won games before. They know what it takes to win now. It's a matter of consistently doing that every single week until you're able to reach that 4 victories or even more so you can be seeded well in the playoffs. You know what it takes to win now. You've tasted victory and you've tasted defeat. And so now it's just an uphill battle from here as you begin to face better and better teams moving on throughout the season.
I mean, but as we get into this, our SAGU Gold did take the victory over today. Yep. I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, where else can these viewers see any of these matches or any of these past matches?
Yeah, no, for sure. And any of these matches that you've missed throughout the weeks, because we're in week 3 of ECAC. We've been doing this for about 3 weeks now. There's still, 5 more weeks down the road. That can all be found on our YouTube channel at SAGU Esports, to where you can catch the recap of the matches. You can go back and watch the stream over again. You can show your friends this awesome play that happened later on. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel if you want to catch up on any of these matches.
Not only do the SAGU Esports have our very own YouTube channel, but we also have our very own Instagram and Twitter. Both of those places you can see the final recaps of these games and what the score was, and whether our SAGU teams took the victory or took the defeat for those as well. You'll also be able to find our stream link if you weren't able to catch it then.
Yep.
And in our Instagram bio, you'll be able to see our Discord. Our Discord will be linked where you'll be able to connect with our actual players if you wanted to go talk to Maxtillian and congratulate him for what an amazing job he did today.
Yeah.
You can go do that in our Discord, which will be found in our Instagram bio. But
Absolutely. Can I do one more plug?
You can.
Also, if you're interested in any other of SAGU's athletic programs, be sure to go find SAGU Sports Network on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all the above. Definitely go check out SAGU Sports Network to watch the football matches here on campus, to watch basketball. What else do we host? We host soccer. Just if you want to see volleyball as well. If you want to see stuff that's happening outside of esports here at SAGU, definitely go follow SAGU Sports Network.
But this is SAGU Sports Network, and tonight we hosted our Rocket League Gold team with a victory of 4-0 over Caldwell. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we can't wait to see you again.